All right, Clover, I'm here. I brought the cones you asked me for. I'm ready to set up this game. I'm so excited that our friends are going to be able to play this game with us today. Are you excited, Clover? Oh, fantastic. Now, what's going to happen with these cones once we put them on the ground? Do you want to tell us about what's going to happen? Right, okay. So we're going to put the cones out in a bit of a pattern, and then, right, they're going to start at one, hop to one, jump to another, yeah? Right, then pick up a ball and dribble and bounce, and then all the way to the end. Is that right? Wow, that's so exciting. That's such a great plan. I don't know who's going to come and play with us. It could be so exciting to see who comes and plays this afternoon. Oh, yes. Oh, hello. Michael from Doing Life Together. Hope you are well. I'm out here today with my friend Kimochis, Clover. Can you say hi, Clover? Hi, Clover. Hi, everyone. Clover, as you just heard, is so excited because we are setting up a game for other Kimochis friends to come and join in and play with us later this afternoon. It's really exciting. Now, before I continue, if you've got the large Clover or the mini Clover at home, at school, fantastic, play along. If not, follow the link in this video description to our website, download the template, and you can make your very own Clover puppet to play along with at home, at school, online, wherever you might be. Now, as you heard, Clover's very excited because this game we're setting up is going to be one that he and his friends can play, and he loves setting up things for his friends to play and join in and have fun with, don't you, Clover? Yes. Now, you heard we've got the cones, and Clover brought the ball. Oh, are you okay, Clover? I wonder why Clover's looking away. Do you know why Clover might be looking away, everyone? Clover, would you like to... Clover? Oh... Maybe I'll see if you'll tell me what's going on. Clover, could you tell me what's happening? Oh, buddy. Everybody, Clover forgot the ball. Clover's our character that sometimes things just don't go his own way, and he feels like he's really unlucky, and he feels like he's always forgetting things and forgetting to do things or to bring things, and he feels like when that happens, people not having fun is his fault. It's a big feeling for Clover. Maybe you feel like that sometimes as well. Now, Clover, would you like to tell us what you're feeling right now? Oh, come on, buddy. If you would be with me right now, I'd ask one of you to dive in to behind Clover here and just pull out the feeling that he's feeling right now. Have a look at this feeling. What feeling do you think that is? That's our disappointed feeling. It's a really big feeling for Clover, and when his disappointment gets bigger and bigger, he feels embarrassed and he hides and he becomes shy, and he feels like there's not really a big way out for him. Do you ever feel disappointed about things? Maybe you can turn to your mums, your dads, your teachers, your friends, yourself in a mirror and show them, what do you look like when you feel disappointed? What does your body do? What does your face do? Maybe share, what do you sound like when you're feeling disappointed? And the people you're sharing with can share their disappointment with you as well. It's really important that we know when others feel disappointed, when we can see that maybe they're starting to get a really hard to have feeling. This is a hard feeling for Clover. Do you have any stories about when you felt disappointed? Turn to the people with you right now and share those stories. Maybe you shared times like you missed out on having a turn at school, or someone else got to play a game and you didn't, or you might have missed out on something else you really wanted, or someone might have promised they'd do something with you and then something came up or they forgot. Lots of things in life can lead us to feel disappointed. It's a big feeling. Clover gets it often. Before I keep talking about that, another thing you need to know about Clover is Clover has an amazing sense of humour. He loves to tell jokes, he loves to laugh, don't you, buddy? Yeah, and some of his jokes are really, really funny. But sometimes Clover can use his silly as a bit of an unhelpful tool. And the way he does it is like this. Sometimes when he's feeling disappointed or sad or upset or another hard to have feeling, instead of saying, hey, this is a big feeling for me, I might need a little bit of help, he does this. You ready? He takes out his silly feeling. Yeah, you remember the silly. He's got his disappointed and he does this. Ready? He puts his silly in front of his disappointed. And so everyone who sees Clover thinks he's being silly, and his silly's big, and he's having fun, and he's smiling. But look what's happening behind Clover's silly. Can you see that? His silly is in front, and everyone can see his silly, but behind his silly, his disappointment is still there, and his disappointment is getting bigger. Or behind his silly, his sad is still there, and it's getting bigger. Or behind his silly, his frustrated or his mad is behind, and it's still getting bigger. And one of the things I like to work with Clover on, and you might find this useful for yourself or children in your care, mums, dads, teachers, is I like to remind Clover, it's okay to make your silly smaller, and it's okay to show me what's behind your silly. Maybe that's a tool you can try this week, at home, at school, wherever you might be. Remind yourself, just like I reminded Clover, it's okay to make your silly smaller, take your silly away, and show me what's behind your silly. Because once I know what's behind Clover's silly, then I can help Clover make this disappointment that little bit smaller. One tool that we like to teach, and Clover likes to teach boys and girls to make disappointed a little bit smaller, is what we call a disappointment shrug. Can you try this with me at home or at school, wherever you might be? Just go like this. What does that feel like when you do that? Try it again. Oh well, maybe next time. That's our disappointment shrug. You see, it feels like it's okay. I didn't get a turn this time, but maybe next time. It's okay, I couldn't do that with Mum today, but next time I could try something different. Or, hey, I forgot the ball, but we could do something else between the cones instead. Couldn't we, Clover? Yeah. That little disappointment shrug can be a really great tool to make our disappointment that little bit smaller. Clover has a friend, by the way, for when I'm not around or when other friends aren't around, this friend can help Clover. And his name is Howard. Howard sits right here on Clover, and when I'm not around or Clover's by himself, Howard reminds Clover, hey Clover, time to put your silly away and show me what's behind that silly. Hey Clover, you're feeling really disappointed at the moment and it's getting bigger. Let's bounce back. Let's find a different way to try what we were trying, to still do what we want, and to make that disappointment a little bit smaller. How cool is that? And yes, you saw the spring here to remind us that Clover is great at bouncing back and finding a different way to move forward with something, even though he can't do what he wanted. So right now, for example, Clover is feeling really disappointed because he forgot the ball to use in his activity with the cones. And that's making his disappointment pretty big. It's a hard to have feeling for him, isn't it, buddy? But he's going to use his disappointment shrug. And he's going to say, I don't have the ball, but what I do have is legs. And so instead of bouncing a ball between the cones, we can walk backwards. Or instead of bouncing the ball between the cones, we can walk on our tippy toes. There are different ways we can go about the game and we can move forward. And when Clover does that, he has another feeling inside of him. And this one you might know, you might have heard before, you might not have. It's a really big feeling word. And if you're with me right now, I'm just going to put Howard back inside here. I'd ask one of you to reach in and pull out this feeling that Clover's having right now. Do you know what this feeling is? This is our optimistic feeling. That's a big word. Can you say that with me? Optimistic. And optimistic means what we were just talking about. When our disappointment gets really big, or when our sad gets really big, or when we're sad or disappointed because we couldn't do what we wanted, or we forgot something, or something didn't work out the way we planned, or someone didn't follow through with what we asked or what they promised, what we can do is we can say, okay, we can use our disappointment shrug and other tools you can talk about with your mums and dads and your teachers to make that disappointment a little bit smaller. We can take our silly away from being in front of our disappointment, and we can start doing this. Okay, here we go. We're going to make our optimistic that little bit bigger, and we're going to put it in front, just like this. So how do you think we can make our optimistic, in other words, looking for different ways of doing something, looking forward to say we can give it a go in a different way, or do something else, or we can do this instead, or hey, next time that person's going to remember, or hey, I could do something different next time, or it's going to be okay. How can we make that optimistic a little bit bigger? And once it gets bigger, then we can put it in front of our disappointment, put it in front of our sad, whatever it might be. One of the tools that Clover likes to use to make his optimistic a little bit bigger is he likes to tell himself, it's okay, last time this happened, I was able to. Last time this happened, I spoke to so-and-so and they helped me through it. Hey, I can work my way through these hard things. I can find a different way to bounce back and give it another go. I can find a different way to bounce back and try in a different way. This sort of positive self-talk helps Clover make his optimism a little bit bigger. The other thing that Clover likes to do is sometimes when his disappointment is getting really big and he wants to grow that optimistic, sometimes he draws a picture to remind himself of what he's done in the past, how he's made his optimistic that little bit bigger before. Or sometimes he finds people, his friends or people like Howard, to remind him, to encourage him, to coach him, to say you can try a different way. You can make that optimistic that little bit bigger, Clover. Mums and dads, teachers, this is a really handy tool to talk around the idea of resilience and bouncing back, putting our optimistic in front. Some amazing ways we've seen this used. I spoke to a young girl a few years ago. She was 6 years old and she said to me, I was at recess time, I was out there and I was playing and I felt optimistic. And I said, well, why did you feel optimistic? She said, because I was being kind to my friends and this means that I am feeling optimistic that they're going to want to play with me at lunchtime. How amazing is that? I spoke to another young boy who was 8 years old and he was trying really hard to do a bit of schoolwork and he was really finding it hard to work out what to do, and he was feeling disappointed in himself. He was feeling sad about the fact he couldn't do it, and those hard to have feelings were getting bigger and bigger. And he reminded himself that I've tried this before. Last time I was able to work it out and I was able to do it. And as he did that, he made his optimistic bigger and bigger and bigger. He put it in front of his disappointed and he stepped forward and he gave it another go and he was able to do the learning task. These are really powerful ways and powerful tools to help us bounce back when things get that little bit too hard. Clover and I have had an awesome time out here with you today. We hope you're having a great week. We look forward to seeing you again real soon, and we just hope that you can find ways this week to bounce back, to make that optimistic a little bit bigger when that disappointment gets just a little bit too big. See you next time.